guys, how is it going? Hey, I hope you guys are doing well. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Film Life Vlog. Guess what, guys? I got a super rare camera that I want to show you guys. Check this out. Look at this beauty. Now this camera here is a new Special Sibyl camera. It's a very rare camera. It was actually made between 1913 and 19 in the 30s. I think that production ended in the 30s, and it is super rare. And I am so excited about this camera. I actually got this camera from the Antique Mall in Edmonton. I was in Edmonton about a week ago, and I came across this camera in there. The moment I saw it, I knew I had to have it. Now this camera was made in the United Kingdom, in England. And take a look at the lens on this camera. There were different variants before this camera was made. There were various different types. I think there was New Ideal Sibyl, but this one is a new Special Sibyl. There were different variants. It's basically constructed like a large format camera. So it comes with different backs. Right now it doesn't have any back attached, but I'll show you the backs that this came with. The wonderful thing about this camera is that I can attach on the back here, I can attach a special back that takes sheet film, and it takes a 2.5 by 3.5 inch film. Or I can also attach an adapter that actually takes 120 film as well, and I just happen to have both of those that came with this camera. Now this camera here was supposed to go for $399 Canadian dollars, but I got it for $199 Canadian dollars. I got a really good deal on it. If you go on eBay right now, there's only one that's actually available on eBay right now, and it's really in bad shape, and that is going for over 700 Canadian dollars. But this one here is in way better shape than that one. This lens is renowned for being a really good quality lens, and the aperture on it is f4.5. It's a 112 millimeter lens, so this will be very ideal for taking portraits. And the bellows are in excellent shape. The bellows and the leather part of this construction here, the body, was made with the finest Moroccan leather. The construction here is mostly metal, okay? And if you look here, it also came with this shutter release cable that I have attached here. So the shutter button is actually underneath this. You can change the focus basically by moving this switch over here, and as you can tell, as I move it, it moves the lens forward and backwards just like that, right? And the aperture is set using this switch over here, right? And it goes from f4.5 to f45. f45. That is very impressive. And here is the shutter speed lever, and it goes from half a second to 1/150th of a second. If you look here, there is a switch here that is labeled I, B, or T, and in the I position basically is whatever shutter speed you set here will be reflected there. In the B position, which is the bulb position, basically you are able to use this to regulate how long you want to keep the shutter open. So I just removed the shutter release cable, and this is how it looks on the inside, and the shutter button looks just like that. In order to cock the shutter, basically this can switch between the plus position and the 0 position. So now that I did this, it's cocked, okay? So my shutter speed is set right there. You can see the shutter speed lever right here, and just like that, I fired it. If I try to fire it again, it's not gonna fire. In order to cock the shutter, you move this again to the 0 position. So it alternates between these two positions, and just like that, I can fire it, just like that. The glass on this thing is amazing. I've actually looked up photos, and they look amazing. It is worth mentioning that this comes with a brilliant finder, and the way this works is that there is a lens that allows in the light. There's a mirror that's angled at I think 45 degrees right here, and then there's a screen on top here, right? So it is similar to your waist level viewfinder where you have the ground glass that projects some images onto it. I think it works pretty well actually. It's actually quite clear if you take a good look. It's really clear, and I'm very happy about the quality of it. Right here are some holders that will actually you'll be able to attach your back to. And at this point, I'm gonna show you some of the backs that came with this camera. The accessories came in this lovely box over here. This is a really old box, and I'm just gonna open it and show you guys what's in it. Now take a good look. This is some really awesome stuff. It came with this cloth because just like a large format camera, when you're trying to focus at the back of the screen, depending on the back that you have, and I'll show you that back, you'll need a cloth to basically cover to be able to see when you're outdoors in bright light settings. So I'm gonna go through some of the backs that it came with. So this one here, if you look carefully, this one has a dark slide in place. If you move this dark slide, just slide this off, and what you have is basically a holder that you can slide your sheet film into. Okay, so the moment this goes on the back of the camera, and this is a dark slide. After you've set your camera up and your film is in here, right, or your sheet film is in here, all you have to do is basically remove the dark slide when you're ready to expose the film, but it's not exposed yet because the shutter is still on, and then you just fire your shutter. Once the shutter opens, that exposes the film right there, and then when you're done, you basically put the dark slide back on, and then you can take this whole thing off into a dark space and develop your film. So that's the first back. So this is a different back that you can put on the camera. I really like the modular form of this camera, right? Apart from the camera body, just take a look at this. This is how it opens up, and once this back is on, you're able to actually compose your images a lot better, because guess what? This is ground glass. So you're able to see your image projected onto this and fix the sharpness if you want to. There's another layer in here that you lift up this way, and now this stays open. See how cool that is? So this goes on the back of the camera, and now your images project onto the glass just like that. Now you can actually see the image of the window projected on the glass. So once this is on, you're able to use your the dark cloth really to help you to cover it like this, and then you go in and take a good look if you want to sharpen your image or check the focus and all of that. That helps when you're outside. So that's the second back that came with this camera. Beautiful. And just think about it. These things are almost 100 years old. Just think about it. Possibly older. They're still in pretty good shape. Now imagine if you've done your focusing and now you want to actually shoot. Now there's two ways that you could do this. Actually there are three ways, and I'll talk about the third way later. But the first way is to put this back on. Remember what I just talked about, and this back will have the film slid into here, the sheet film, and then once you expose it, once you remove this, you're able to expose your film, right? The second way is to use one of these three sheet film holders here. Now it came with these three, and I'm so excited for them. Just take a look at that. So this is practically large. It's like large format, but because it's 2.5 by 3.5 inch sheet, those are technically medium format size, but they operate just like a large format camera. In the darkroom, you basically insert your sheet film into these slots. You basically take this out like this, And if you look, you can just insert your sheet film into this portion here, right? And that is covered with the dark slide over here, and then you insert your second one here as well, right? And then you can cover that as well with a dark slide. So once this is exposed in the light, basically it's protected from light. So even in the light, these are light proof. Basically they will protect your film, even but reasonably so, right? You don't want to expose this to really bright light, but at least it will protect your slides under normal circumstance, right? But it's so cool, right? So the way this works is that I will go in the field with these already preloaded with sheet film, and then I take the first one here, I attach this to the back of the camera, I pull this out, right? I do my exposure, I put this back on, and then I flip it. Do another exposure on this side, which has the film in there as well, and then I basically go to another one. The next one, and so on and so forth, and the numbers keep progressing. This is 3 and 4, and then this is 5 and 6. So this helps you keep a good handle on what's been exposed and what's not been exposed. Helps you keep track of that. But once you're done, now you bring these, right, already exposed into the darkroom, and then you are able to develop your film just like you would develop any normal film. So that's the second way of shooting film with that camera. The third way, which is really awesome, is that this also came with an adapter to use 120 film, and that's this adapter right here. It is so cool, guys. This is so cool. And I'm gonna show you how this works. Okay, so first of all, to open this, you just lift this up like that, right? And that opens this up. Now, there are 2 spools in here. The way this works is that before you load your film, you're gonna have to take this whole thing out. And later on, I'm gonna study this and I'm gonna figure out how to actually put the film on this. And I will share that experience with you guys. But basically, imagine that the film, the emulsion side will be over here, just exposed, right? And then you fit this back on, right? Just like that. It goes in nicely. You close this up, right? And also in this case, there's a dark slide over here. So you just slip this up, and that would expose the film right there. And then you're able to take your shots. And when you're done, actually, in this case, because it's not sheet film, this actually helps you to spin the roll to the next exposure, and so on and so forth, right? And this is actually your film counter right there. I'm gonna spend a little bit more time with this, and then, like I said, I'm gonna show you guys how this is done. But I am so excited. I'm so excited that this is so versatile. I can use sheet film on this camera, and I can use roll film as well on this camera. That is awesome. So I'm going to attach this back, which is a ground glass back, onto the camera right now, and just take a look how this would work. It fits in actually quite nicely. Always the left side goes in first. I think it's upside down. I'll try the other side. Yeah, like that. It fits in actually quite nicely. So the left side goes in, and then the right side will just sit in easily like that. And then once that is done, you just move this up, and this will sort of hold it in place, right? Once this goes up, it just helps to hold it in place. And now it's fully attached, and I'm ready to shoot. I'm ready to go and start focusing on my image. So obviously this will be on a tripod, and in that case a tripod will be mounted right there. So this mounts onto a tripod, and I'm able to focus using this over here to focus, and I'm able to basically get the image sharp. And when the image is sharp enough and I'm confident, then I can use any of the other backs, attach it, and be able to take my image. I really look forward to using this camera. This has become probably one of my most prized cameras in my collection. I have a bunch of old cameras, but this is probably the rarest camera that I have in my collection, and I'm very happy to have this. So anyways, in another vlog episode, I will be taking this camera out for a spin, but until then, I'm just happy to learn more about this camera, to learn how to operate it, and I will be sure to share that experience with you guys when I'm ready. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your time and your support, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And as always, stay safe.